Good morning. Continuing, for some of us, we're continuing with the Yoga Sutras, the beginning of chapter 2. The 5 categories of what they call afflictions or kleshas, suffering, in other words. It is very good to be aware of it. So one has to distance oneself a little bit and then just enjoy the journey. Do we recognize the 5 types of afflictions or not? If we do, then it will help us, no? Let us see. Om Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Panchaklesha Panchaklesha. Again, I show Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Panchaklesha Panchaklesha. And together Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Panchaklesha. Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Panchaklesha. Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Bhinivesha Panchaklesha. So first there is a sandhi, S-A-N-D-H-I, sandhi. Every time it means a change in sound, a combination of sounds when they meet together. So 2 sounds, one long and one short, met together. Avidya and Asmita. You can say Avidya Asmita. Avidya Asmita. And the sandhi is Avidyasmita. Avidyasmita. Avidya is the opposite of vidya, and the root in that word is vid, to know, to feel, to understand, to be aware. So vidya is knowledge, awareness. Avidya is unawareness. Now in context here it means unawareness of one's true being, of one's self. Not the body, mind, they make us aware of their problems all the time, but the true self, which is beyond the body and mind, that we are generally not aware of. We may have heard about and like the idea, but do we feel we are absolutely free from the conditions of the body and mind and the senses, etc.? So unless we completely feel free from that, we are still in avidya. So it is the root cause of suffering. As the teachings go, we are omnipresent in our spirit form, and we feel very stuck many times. If not in the body when there is physical trouble, then at least in the mind there is some mental something going on which is not us, really, not our true self. So it is the most important one. Then what happens when you don't feel your true self? The next is asmita. Asmita, ego. The state of ego, the substitute self. Why do we say substitute? Because our real self, it's already obliterated by, its karmas, it is our conditions. Then something has to fill that vacuum, and it is the limited self, the psychological self or ego, totally made up of our memories, conscious and subconscious and unconscious. Asmi means I am, and ta means the state of feeling I am, this limited psychological self. The empirical self is the ego, the one who acts. Then further afflictions, raga, raga, raga. Raga is passion, liking, attachment, positive attraction. Dvesha, dvesha. In here, there are two words, dvesha and abhinivesha. Dvesha and abhinivesha. Can you say dvesha, dvesha, abhinivesha? And together, Sandhi, dvesha, abhinivesha. So we have to get used to that some way or another. Similar sounds, just like each other so much, they become one. Dissimilar sounds may need a third party to mediate between them. There's all kinds of types of sandhi. So raga and dvesha, they make a pair. As they say, the pairs of opposites. Raga, attraction and liking, and dvesha, aversion and hating, hatred. And they will be defined also. We are attracted to that which gives us pleasure, and we hate that which gives us pain, naturally. So raga and dvesha are the two ends of the same thing. They can change into each other any time also. And the last one given, the last of the five, abhinivesha. That is completely becoming completely involved, completely stuck in, identifying with this personality. It started out by unawareness of our true self, our higher form, our spirit form, all blissful and free and powerful, and abhinivesha, identity with matter and material thinking, with that which we are not, and therefore included, implied in it is fear of losing that. So fear of death. If we feel identified with the body will have to die, and we will have to bear that fear of death. If we meditate, we are free, at least even temporarily free from body identity, then at that time you cannot have fear of death either. So they go together. Let us see again. Avidya, Asmita, Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha, Abhinivesha, Pancha Klesha, Pancha Klesha. Pancha is number 5. Klesha are the afflictions, the types of suffering, and they will have literally infinitely many sub-categories. You can classify all your afflictions into these 5 for practice sometimes. Klesha, from the root klish, interesting verb root. Klish means both to feel pain and torment and to inflict pain. It means both. So you have to see your context. But the end result, the noun, just means pain and suffering. These are definitions. I will read briefly our Guru's translation. The 5 afflictions, kleshas, are 1. Ignorance of one's own self, avidya. 2. Ego or individual, it's translated I amness, because the word asmita is something like I amness. Individual I amness, the ego. 3. Undue attachment, raga. 4. Hatred or undue aversion, dvesha. 5. Clinging to personality and individuality, along with instinctive fear of death, Abhinivesha. It is the clinging. It reminds me of a cartoon. This guy is embracing the cactus and shouting, "Help me, help me, help me." Of course, the help would be just let go of it. That is abhinivesha, actually. These kleshas are the main cause of anguish, misery, and the various types of sorrow and suffering. And it will tell us that unawareness, ignorance, is the cause even of the other kleshas. Let us see if the Sanskrit is very clear. It's one compound word up to abhinivesha. It is enumerating 5 types of misery. So avidya and asmita and raga and dvesha and abhinivesha is understood. The 5 types of afflictions. Then the next sutra will go into the first one more. Avidya, avidya, kshetramuttaresham, kshetramuttaresham, prasupta tanu, vichinnodaranam, vichinnodaranam, avidya kshetramuttaresham, avidya kshetramuttaresham, prasupta tanu vichinnodaranam, prasupta tanu vichinnodaranam. Let's start together. Avidya kshetramuttaresham, prasupta tanu vichinnodaranam. Again. Avidya kshetramuttaresham, prasupta tanu vichinnodaranam. So the first one, ignorance or unawareness of who we are. Kshetram, that is the field, the operative field. Also, field is where everything grows, right? Uttaresham, uttaresham, of the others that are following. So avidya was first. What are the others? Asmita, ego, raga, attachment, dvesha, hatred, and abhinivesha, complete clinging and fear, therefore. So ignorance of one's true being is the cause, is the field in which all the others grow. Kshetram, uttaresham. And it applies no matter whether those kleshas, let's call them kleshas, are prasupta, dormant, literally sleeping, in the sleeping state. Dormant means sleeping. Or tanu, or very mild, very thin, literally, very mild. Or vichinna, or interrupted, on and off. Now you feel raga, now you don't. Now you feel dvesha, now you don't, etc. Vichinna, from chid, to cut, and vichinna, interrupted, cut, kind of like that. And udara. Udara is literally generous, broadly manifested, full-blown. Whether it's a sickness or some mental klesha, you have all those stages. Or something good also. Your happiness, sometimes it's dormant, sometimes it's very little bit, and sometimes it is on and off, and sometimes complete happiness, at least for the time being. We're talking relativity, we're talking experience in life here. So prasupta, dormant, mild, alternating on and off, or fully manifested. those kleshas, they all grow from the first one, from the avidya, the unawareness. Let us see the meaning a little bit. Guru's enhanced translation. Avidya is ignorance, lack of knowledge about one's self, capital S. It is the operative field, the source of all those sufferings and miseries that are mentioned after it, whether they are in a dormant state, attenuated, alternating, or fully operative in the expanded condition. It is through lack of self-awareness that the other causes of misery are able to operate. So suppose we work on that. How to become aware? We are awareness, but how to direct our attention to that which is the important part. Here it says the most important part is our own self. When that is not felt, when that is lost, as it were, no wonder all kinds of other things start happening. There will not be a vacuum. Ego will jump in right away. I am this person, and if you're not with me, you're against me, and that kind of ego thing. Therefore, avidya kshetram, it is the field where all the others have opportunity to grow. Prasupta tanu vichinna udaranam. So it doesn't matter. Experience of life will tell us, even if right now I don't feel hatred, but I have felt before, it may come again if it's triggered. Even if right now I don't have this clinging to my body, mind, senses, personality, but I have seen it. And until the cause is removed, all these vichinna conditions, the interrupted, alternating conditions, no guarantee. Happiness, well, how did I say? Even this shall pass and turn happiness into unhappiness and unhappiness into happiness again. Love, hate, hate, love, famous. So what to do? The very first sutra in the second chapter already told us what to do. It was tapasvadhyaya ishvara pranidhana. Those are Kriya Yoga, self-discipline, self-study, and for the rest, surrender to the cosmic consciousness. That was the remedy already given. Now explaining further. Why do we need it? Because we are not aware of what we should be aware, and we are aware of only the kleshas that take its place. Let's chant this second one again. Avidya kshetramuttaresham, avidya kshetramuttaresham, prasupta tanu vichinnodaranam, prasupta tanu vichinnodaranam. And now all together, both of them, that's it. Avidya Asmita Ragadvesha Bhinivesha Panchaklesha Avidya Kshetramuttaresham Prasupta Tanu Vichinnodaranam. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you very much.